Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. When you create characters and props for a video game, you usually start by creating concept art. The next step then is to create high detailed 3D models. These then can have several million polygons. While they have stunning detail, you can't use these directly in the game, because the power of the hardware is a limiting factor for how many polygons you can draw on your screen while maintaining a playable frame rate. So you have to reduce the amount of polygons to a level where the model still looks good, but does not eat up all the available power, as your game consists out of many more models. When reducing the poly count, the challenge is to get as low as possible, but not too low, because you still want a nice looking model in your game. So you try to keep more polygons in the areas where they are needed the most and reduce them in other parts of the model where you don't need as many. The textures taken from the very high definition source model allow to make the in-game model look more detailed than it actually is. So how many polygons does an in-game model have? Let's have a look at the soldier models in Battlefield 4. When we look at the US Assault, then the highest resolution model is built out of 21,221 vertices. Now, why did I say the highest resolution model? Even after the 3D artist finished reducing the poly count for the in-game model to around 20,000 vertices, it would still be too much to have 64 players run around in such high resolution. You want to optimize everything to not have the graphics card do more work than it has to do, or you need it to do. This is why there is the LOD system. LOD stands for Level of Detail. It means that for each model you have different versions, where each model has a different poly count. When you're very close to an object, you want to see it in the highest resolution. But when the distance between you and the object increases, you are no longer able to see all the small details. So why waste processing power of your graphics card on rendering all those polygons? That's why there is the LOD system. The greater the distance between you and the model, the fewer polygons this model will contain. So when an object is very far away, the graphics card only has to render a fraction of the polygons from the high resolution model. This reduces the workload of your graphics card. So these are the basics, but why do I tell you this? The reason is that Battlefield 4 also has different LOD models, and that is not working quite right. So here we have a player standing in front of us who is going to hide behind those boxes. These should provide quite good cover for him. Or do they? Look what is happening when I slowly move away from him. Here you now see the engine switch to the lowest LOD mesh. Now the first box is gone, and now 3 are gone. What the engine just did is simply stopped rendering that box. It did that to reduce the load on the graphics card. Now, on great distances, this makes perfect sense, like when you stand on the aircraft carrier on Gulf of Oman and look to the beach. It would not be wise to keep rendering all the elements at this distance. However, as you can see here, the engine stopped rendering the object at a distance of just 48 meters. What happens when we aim down sights? Now the cover suddenly shows up again. Let's move back a bit more. So with ADS the drawing limit for the box is 64 meters. And as you can see, this means that the player up there is not well hidden behind the cover as he thinks he is. I have no trouble to see my enemy now, and all I need to do is wait for him to stick his head out and shoot him. So once I reached a certain distance between me and the object, This kinda works like a wallhack. When you use a scope, then it becomes pretty confusing. No boxes, boxes. No boxes, boxes. When you know a map, then you can use this to your advantage, and it's quite a big advantage. This is not limited to this specific map or just those boxes. The same happens with many other objects in the game which should provide cover. You can play at low, medium, high or ultra graphics settings. This does not make a difference for the drawing distance of these boxes and similar objects. What does make a difference, and you already guessed it by the title of the video, is your field of view setting. I recorded this video here using a field of view of 110. Now you might ask, why play with such a fisheye view? The answer is quite simple. The larger my field of view is, the more unlikely it is that I run past an enemy. I simply see more to my left and to my right. You get quite a benefit from increasing your field of view. So what happens when we decrease it to 90? Then without aiming down the sights, the box disappears after 64 meters. With aiming down sights, they disappear after 84 meters. So if you decrease the field of view by 20, you see the boxes for 20 more meters. If you decrease the field of view even more, the drawing distance will also increase. But why would you do that? With a smaller field of view, you will miss stuff that is happening to your left and to your right. Also, disappearing cover is an obvious advantage for you. As far as I can tell from my own experience, this issue is present in all the Frostbite engine Battlefield games. So what should be done about it? Obviously, at such short distances, the engine still has to render at least the lowest LOD mesh to avoid that I can look through cover and see enemies. Which does give me quite an unfair advantage over players who are maybe trying to play smart and tactical, or are just camping. In my opinion, it is bad enough that we have 3D spotting in the game, and that your soldier constantly reveals your position by shouting some random stuff like placing the C4. We really don't need this issue here too, to make everyone see us from a distance through cover. If this gets fixed or not depends on the performance impact this change might have, and if DICE will agree that the current situation is a problem for the game. In my opinion, it is a quite major problem for the game. That's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I'm looking forward to your comments. If you have an idea for a video I should do, just let me know. You can contact me by mail or reach me on Twitter. The links are in the description. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense. See you next time.